Hi, this is Jim Cranston from 7 Every Minute and 7everyminute.com, the podcast and website about reimagining your life. Thanks for joining me today to talk about time. So let's get started. If you like what you hear today, please leave a like, subscribe, tell your friends, send me a message. Thanks for joining me tonight to talk about time and how we spend it. Remember, time is about the only thing we have that we can't get more of, and sometimes we get a lot less than we might have planned on. But this comes to mind because at this point of the year, many people have made New Year's resolutions. And about now, a couple weeks into January, is when they start dropping off, kind of like the leaves off the autumn trees. This is usually accompanied by a myriad of excuses, posing as reasons, but it usually comes down to either poorly written goals or, relatedly, goals that weren't aligned with their true vision and purpose. But we're not talking about that aspect right now, but it does remind me of a cute story I saw recently. A person and their friend were talking about how crowded the local gymnasium gets every January, and then how quickly it starts thinning out as February approaches. Then they came up with the idea that in January they'd open a chain of pop up gymnasiums on January 2nd, and those would slowly turn into bars or restaurants by mid February. So it's kind of a silly story, but it captures the spirit of what happens to many people. They lose their initiative because they didn't really pick a good goal that mattered to themselves. But what has that got to do with time? Well, when you pursue goals that don't really matter to you, not as an experiment or looking for something new, sort of, but you just truly did something kind of in error because you didn't plan, then you're hurting yourself in a couple of different ways. First off, you've created another negative self thought because, sorry, it just had thought we dropped a connection. We had a lot of snow and wind and stuff here, so sometimes the internet's a little shaky. But back to where we were. First off, you've created another negative self thought because you'll likely say, see, I can't finish anything. That isn't true, of course, but if you keep saying it to yourself, your brain will quickly believe that it is the truth. You've also kept yourself from trying to reach a goal that did matter to you. And that leads us into the real issue, not just with goals, but with every choice that we make. By haphazardly working towards a goal that didn't really matter to you, you've kind of wasted your time. Yes, that one resource which you have a finite amount of. As a group, we humans seem particularly prone to wasting time, it seems. I suspect part of it is that by wasting time, it makes us feel as though we have a lot of time left. So what the heck, it doesn't matter. But even if we live to kind of an average lifespan around 76 years, that's around 28,000 days, which sounds really big, right? Well, let's take off, say, the first 21 years, because we were kind of figuring out what we were going to do, and then assume the last 5 years are more limited just due to circumstances, who knows what's going on. Now we're down to about 18,000 hours. That's quite a big drop. Back out another 50 hours each week for work and commuting, and assuming you work for 35 years, and that number just keeps dropping. And so it goes. Time stuck in traffic, time shopping for groceries, time with sick kids or pets. All those things adds up. This isn't add up. This isn't to make you worry or be upset about relaxing, but it is to help you focus on the things that really matter to you. And one of the biggest places I see people waste time is in needless fights and baseless drama. They fight over parking spaces and they stew about it for the next 4 days. They fight with their family, a place where everyone should be pulling together for the success of everyone else in the family. And they fight in their relationships, the one place where mutual support is most needed, and instead it turns into kind of a competition or even a battle. The problem with any and all of these situations is that typically the amount of lost time is seemingly small. I spent the weekend watching TV instead of going for a walk, but it was just one weekend. Yeah, I was angry at that jerk in the pickup truck for a few minutes, but I forget that it dominated my thoughts for days and blocked out my any sort of productive thoughts that I might have been having, costing me many hours, maybe even far more than that. Sure, I could have had a discussion instead of a fight, but I wasn't in the mood and I wanted to share my hurt. But now it just adds to the list of unresolved situations that eventually lead to a complete breakdown in a relationship, and that can have lifelong consequences. And when you start to add up all these little bits of lost time, that's when you realize how much time you thought you had, that you just didn't really have all that much time at all. And, a lot of times we just weren't able to use it effectively. This isn't a guilt trip, not at all. Because the good news is, and any of us at any point in time can change and start changing things right this very second. It's really a matter of being mindful and looking for the true cost of what we're doing, not just in dollars, but in time. Do you want to go on vacation this summer? Or would you rather stay home this year, fix up the house, so next year you can rent it out when you go on a month-long trip somewhere? Do you want to scream at every idiot you see on the road and spend your free time at the doctor? You know, to look past other people's or would you rather look past other people's behaviors and arrive rested and healthy? Do you want to sit on the couch or go for a walk, which not only gives your body some exercise, but prevents you from eating that half gallon of ice cream? Every moment we have the power to decide how we react to every situation that presents itself to us. We can decide to use that moment in our benefit or to just let it pass by with nothing gained. Sometimes the best benefit could be doing nothing. You just got done with a long push at work and now you need a week off with no phone in sight. But the important point is it's done as a conscious, beneficial decision. I am not saying that you have to go, go, go every waking second, not at all. Only that you'll probably be happier and more satisfied with your life when you're purposefully deciding when to have productive moments and when to have restful moments. Each one of us has our own goals and desires, so each one of us has our own different priorities, and that's fine. It's as it should be. The important point is that each one of us should be deciding for ourselves how best to use those moments rather than just letting them kind of slip by because we didn't pay attention. Sometimes life ends unexpectedly early, and sometimes it ends unexpectedly late. But the important aspect is that at any point, ideally, we should be satisfied with what we've been doing. It's not a race to impress others, nor it's a contest to see who got the most done, because done is different for every one of us. Rather, it's a lifestyle and approach to treasure our time, to use it wisely in ways that bring us peace and a feeling of accomplishment at every point in our lives. You'll know you're on the right path when your life feels in balance when compared to your vision and your goals, not when compared to others or what society tells us is important. If you can comfortably tell someone else what you've been doing without qualifications or excuses, then you're probably doing things pretty okay. And that's the best way to really enjoy and to make the most of the time that each one of us has available. So that's it for the evening. Your homework tonight is to think about the past week or month and see if you feel like you've been using your time well. If not, in what ways? And does it feel that way because it doesn't align with your own vision or because you think this is how society expects you to act? So please remember the many wars and areas of political and social unrest throughout the world. Please check out, like I said, our updated page of are we live? We are live. I'm sorry. Just a message came out that made me think that something was not live. It turns out it's just a little Facebook thing. These things happen on live TV. But again, please remember the many wars and areas of political and social unrest throughout the world. Our page of new links at ukr7.com and of course wck.org. World Central Kitchen, they do amazing things anywhere there's a disaster area. There's a lot of people that can use our help throughout the world, and people locally also can use our help. And so if you want to donate locally, that's great. But as I often say, I always say every week, that maybe you're just not in the mood to donate, maybe you're not in a financial position to donate, or maybe you just don't feel that's the way to really solve problems. One thing that always helps, though, is just to share a little kindness in the world. So if you see somebody, they look down and say, hi, how's it going? Just walk by somebody, say, hi, good morning. Anything to make people feel seen, because when you look outside of yourself, it changes your perspective on the world. And when other people see themselves being recognized by others, it makes them feel part of the world. So if you can and you're able, check out one of our links, ukr7.com or worldcentralkitchen.org, or just try and make somebody's life a little bit happier when you come across them in your normal course of life. As always, thank you for stopping by. If you found something interesting and useful, please pass it along. Please subscribe and hit that like button. And if not, please drop me a comment as to what you'd like to hear. Have a great week. Remember to live the life that you dreamed of, because that's the path to true contentment. Love and encouragement to everyone. See you next week on 7 Every Minute and 7everyminute.com. Thank you.